I will put a link in the description where you can find your own book of Nourishing Traditions cookbook for purchase. I will also link in the description the WestonAPriceFoundation.org website and also realmilk.com website where you can learn all about real milk, which is what I'm going to be reading today. Hello, this is Sea Siren Janine, and for today's video, I am going to be reading from Nourishing Traditions cookbook. It is the Weston A. Price Foundation's cookbook, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, milk and milk products. Okay, milk and milk products. What about milk? Among nutritionists, there is no other subject that arouses so much controversy, even animosity, as the debate on milk consumption. While our hunter-gatherer ancestors did not use milk products, there are many healthy nomadic and agricultural societies dating as far back as 9,000 years that depend on the milk of cattle, sheep, goats, horses, water buffalo, and camels for their animal protein and fat, and value this as white blood for its life-sustaining properties. Just a few decades ago, Americans accepted without question the premise that milk was good for us and that a safe, plentiful supply was actually vital to our national security. Today, milk consumption is blamed for everything from chronic ear infections in children to cancer and diabetes in adults. Some people have a low tolerance to milk because they lack intestinal lactase, an enzyme that digests lactose or milk sugar. All baby mammals produce lactase, but production of this enzyme declines and may even disappear after weaning. In humans, a mutation or recessive gene allows the continued production of lactase in some individuals. In an isolated population that depends on milk products for animal protein, those with this gene would have an advantage. If a gene for the persistence of lactase had a frequency of 5% in such population, in 400 generations, its frequency would have risen to 60%, assuming that those who possessed it had 1% more children per generation than intolerant individuals. Natural selection is the mechanism for adapting isolated populations to the food available to them, but modern man is highly peripatetic, and no society in the Western world is composed entirely of people whose ancestors come from the immediate region. By some estimates, only 30 to 40% of the world's population produces lactase in adulthood. Overuse of antibiotics also contributes to lactose intolerance. However, most lactose intolerant individuals can consume milk products in small quantities with no problems. Asians are said to be lactose intolerant, but many of the inhabitants of Japan and China drink milk and eat milk products like cheese, yogurt, and ice cream when they can obtain them. In addition, some people are allergic to milk protein called casein, which is one of the most difficult proteins for the bodies to digest. Once again, this process of natural selection will result in a population more able to digest casein if milk and milk products are part of the traditional diet. The practice of fermenting or souring milk is found in almost all traditional groups that keep herds. The process partially breaks down lactose and pre-digests casein. The end products, such as yogurt and kefir and clabber, are often well tolerated by adults who cannot drink fresh milk. Butter and cream contain little lactose or casein and are usually well tolerated in their natural state, even by those who are lactose intolerant. Even so, fermented or soured butter and cream are more digestible. Those with an extreme intolerance for milk protein can take butter in the form of ghee or clarified butter, from which the milk solids have been removed. Cheese, which consists highly of concentrated casein, is well tolerated by some and best completely avoided by others. Cheeses made from raw milk contain a full complement of enzymes and are therefore more easily digested than cheeses made from pasteurized milk. Natural cheeses, whether from pasteurized or unpasteurized milk, will be more digestible when eaten unheated. Processed cheese contains emulsifiers, extenders, phosphates, and hydrogenated oils. They should be strictly avoided. While some lucky people are genetically equipped to digest milk in all its forms, a milk sold in your supermarket is bad for everybody, partly because the modern cow is a freak of nature. A century ago, cows produced 2 to 3 gallons per day. Today's Holsteins routinely give 3 or 4 times as much. This is accomplished by selective breeding and to produce cows with abnormally active pituitary glands and by high protein feeding. The pituitary gland not only produces hormones that stimulate the production in milk, it also produces growth hormones. Recently, the FDA approved a genetically engineered growth hormone for cows. These hormones are identical to those produced by the pituitary gland in today's high production cows. This practice will simply add to the high level of bovine growth hormones that have been present in our milk for decades. These hormones are present in water fraction of the milk, but not the butter fat. Babies receive growth hormones from their mothers through mother's milk. Small amounts of these hormones are necessary and moderate amounts are not harmful, but superfluidity can result in growth abnormalities. Excessive pituitary hormones are also associated with tumor formation, and some studies link milk consumption with cancer. The freak pituitary cow is prone to many diseases. She almost always secretes pus into her milk and needs frequent doses of antibiotics. Another serious problem with today's dairying methods is the feeding of high-protein soybean meal to the cows. This stimulates them to produce large quantities of milk, but contributes to high rate of mastitis and other problems that can lead to sterility, liver problems, and shortened lives. Little research has been done to determine what these soy feeds do to the quality of protein in the cow's milk. It is the current rate of milk protein allergies due to the inappropriate feed in our dairy's herds. The proper food for cows is green plants, especially the rapid growing green grasses in the early spring and fall. Milk from properly fed cows will contain the price factor and cancer-fighting CLA, as well as a rich supply of vitamins and minerals. Unfortunately, under the current system, farmers have little incentive to pasture feed their herds, nor to follow other practices that result in high quality milk. Another factor contributing to the degradation of today's milk is pasteurization. We have been taught that pasteurization is beneficial, a method of protecting ourselves against infectious diseases. But closer examination reveals that it has its merits and has been highly exaggerated. The modern milking machine is a stainless steel tank, along with efficient packaging and distribution, make milk pasteurization totally unnecessary for the purpose of sanitization, and pasteurization is no guarantee of cleanliness. All outbreaks of salmonella from contaminated milk in recent decades, and there have been many, have occurred in pasteurized milk. This includes a 1985 outbreak in Illinois that struck over 14,000 people, causing at least one death. The salmonella strain in that batch of pasteurized milk was found to be genetically resistant to both penicillin and tetracycline. Raw milk contains lactic acid producing bacteria that protect against pathogens. Pasteurization destroys these helpful organisms, leaving the unfinished product devoid of any protective mechanism that should be desirable bacteria inadvertently contaminate the supply. Raw milk in time turns pleasantly sour, while pasteurized milk lack beneficial bacteria will putrefy. But that's not all that pasteurization does to milk. Heat alters milk's amino acids, lysine and tyrosine, making the whole complex of proteins less available. It promotes rancidity of unsaturated fatty acids and destruction of vitamins. Vitamin C loss in pasteurization usually exceeds 50%. Loss of other water-soluble vitamins can run as high as 80%. The woolsin, or anti-stiffness factor, is totally destroyed, as is vitamin B. Needed for healthy blood, vitamin B12, needed for healthy blood and properly functioning nervous system. Pasteurization reduces the availability of milk's mineral components such as calcium, chloride, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, and sulfur, as well as many trace minerals. There is some evidence that pasteurization alters lactose, making it more readily absorbable. This and the fact that pasteurized milk puts an unnecessary strain on the pancreas to produce digestive enzymes may explain why milk consumption in civilized societies has been linked with diabetes. Last but not least, pasteurization destroys all of the enzymes in milk. In fact, the test for successful pasteurization is absent of enzymes. These enzymes help the body assimilate all bodybuilding factors, including calcium. That is why those who drink pasteurized milk may suffer from osteoporosis. Lipase in raw milk helps the body digest and utilize butterfat. After pasteurization, chemicals may be added to suppress odor and restore taste. Synthetic vitamin D2 or vitamin D3 is added. The former is toxic and has been linked to heart disease, while the latter is difficult to absorb. The final indignity is homogenization, which has also been linked to heart disease. Punky. Punky. Hi, puppy. Hi, puppy. Powdered skim milk is added to the most popular varieties of commercial milk, 1% and 2% milk. Commercial dehydration methods oxidize cholesterol in powdered milk, rendering it harmful to the arteries. High temperature drying also creates large quantities of cross-linked proteins and nitrate compounds, which are potent carcinogens, as well as free glutamic acid, which is toxic to the nervous system. Modern pasteurized milk, devoid of its enzyme content, which puts an enormous strain on the body's digestive mechanism. In the elderly and those with milk intolerance or inherited weakness of digestion, this milk passes through not fully digested and can build up around the tiny villi of the small intestine, preventing the absorption of vital nutrients and promoting the uptake of toxins toxic substances. The result is allergies, chronic fatigue, and a host of degenerative diseases. All the milk drinking populations studied by Dr. Price consumed raw milk, raw cultured milk, or raw cheeses from the normal healthy animals eating fresh grass or fodder. It is very difficult to find this kind of milk in America. In California, New Mexico, and Connecticut, raw milk is available in health food stores, although such milk often comes from cows raised in confinement. In many states, you can buy raw milk from the farm. If you find a farmer who will sell you raw milk from an old-fashioned Jersey or Guernsey cow, or from goats, tested free of tuberculosis and brucellosis, and have allowed to feed on fresh pasturage, then by all means avail yourself of this source. Some stores now carry pasteurized but not homogenized milk from cows raised on natural feed. Such milk may be used to make cultured buttered products such as kefir, yogurt, cultured buttermilk, and cultured cream. Traditionally, cultured buttermilk, which is low in casein but high in lactic acid, is often well tolerated by those with milk allergies and gives excellent results when used to soak whole grains flours for baking. If you cannot find good quality raw milk, you should limit your consumption of milk products to cultured milk, cultured buttermilk, whole milk yogurt, butter, and cream, and raw cheeses, all which are available in all states. Much imported cheese is raw. Look for the words milk or fresh milk on the label and of very high quality. For butter from pasture-fed cows and organic ghee by mail order, see sources. See also www.realmilk.com for a listing of raw milk and milk products from pasture-fed animals. Okay, well, that is all for an excerpt of me reading out of the Weston A. Price Foundation's Nourishing Traditions cookbook. I am going to be continuing this series of reading excerpts out of the book, as well as my series of practicing these traditional recipes. Tons of recipes in this book. I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you very much for watching. Sea Siren Janine, please like and subscribe for more videos. In the spirit of reading about raw milk today, milk products, I am going to be enjoying my breakfast, which is usually a glass of fresh raw milk from my small local dairy. Please support your small local farmer by voting with your dollar. You can find real farms in your area that you didn't even know you had by contacting your local Weston A. Price Foundation chapter leader. Remember, that link is in the description. They are very helpful for helping people find real farmed food in their area. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching.